All right, quick break. Knock, knock. Who's there? Amazon Music. Amazon Music who? Amazon Music, where Prime members can listen to top comedy podcasts ad-free. No awkward interruptions, just nonstop laughs from your favorite shows. It's free, it's funny, and hey, it's better than my knock-knock jokes. Download the Amazon Music app and let the good times roll. Or go to amazon.com/ad-free comedy. That's amazon.com/ad-free comedy to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
Good afternoon, America. I'm Erick Erickson. Thanks for tuning in to 4 Things to Know this afternoon. The 4 things you need to know before you get home from work this afternoon. And I got a confession first. Out of the gate, I want you all to know this entire week, starting Monday, every day I saved the file. And every week I save every day's file by the date. Every single day this week, I've saved the file as July 18th. I don't know why. I've had in my head every day this week was July 18th. Finally, we're here at July 18th, and so I've got the file saved the right way, and it's Friday. Thank goodness. Our first story, Chevron is moving forward with its $53 billion acquisition of Hess Corporation after clearing a major legal hurdle. An arbitration panel has ruled in Chevron's favor, finding that ExxonMobil can't block the deal, despite Exxon's previously claims over a prized oil field in Guyana. This removed one of the last big barriers to Chevron finalizing its takeover of Hess, which is a major industry shakeup. Here's why it matters. Guyana's Stabroek oil field is among the most lucrative finds in decades around the world, transforming that country into a new energy heavyweight. Chevron now stands to gain a huge piece of that, dramatically boosting its reserves and standing in the global energy markets. For anyone following the American energy industry, this is a rare win against regulatory and legal gridlock. Oil majors are jockeying for positions as energy politics get tangled by climate rules. But here's a big signal. There's still a massive competitive global market for fossil fuels that's never going to go away as long as we have plastics, tires, things like that. The winners are those who find a way through the bureaucracy and the boardroom fights. The deal's completion could trigger further consolidation in the oil industry as producers search for scale against OPEC power and the fluctuating U.S. regulatory environment. Chevron stock ticked upwards on the news, a sign Wall Street bets big on American oil for years to come. Now, for years, Exxon treated Chevron as its little brother, and the company's CEOs regularly met for lunch and engaged with each other on cordial terms. Exxon decided to stick its nose into the Guyana oil field matter and disrupted relations seriously with Chevron and engaged in this legal fight because there's so much oil. The relationship between the companies soured. And Exxon, trying to keep Chevron out and keep Chevron from engaging with Hess and Guyana, really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, despite those cordial relationships. And now the little brother Chevron is going to grow up and be on equal footing with Exxon. And it probably will, as I mentioned, consolidate further within the oil industry because Exxon now has a more major competitor than Chevron ever was without Hess. Up next, well, more Epstein fallout. Y'all, I'm tired of it, but it remains in the news. President Trump is calling for the release of the grand jury testimony and sealed grand jury files related to the Jeffrey Epstein case, saying the American people deserve the full truth of the matter. He doesn't want a special counsel. He just wants the release of the documents to figure out what was happening behind closed doors. Trump has argued transparency is the key to restoring trust in institutions. He wants the Justice Department and the courts to unseal all relevant grand jury documents, even if it means exposing connections to powerful individuals across both political parties. This call comes amid growing frustration from Trump's supporters and many Americans across the spectrum over persistent rumors and unanswered questions about Epstein's network. There's suspicion the files could reveal more names and details of potential accomplices, as past releases have left many issues unresolved. Critics rightly caution that releasing grand jury materials is rare and legally complex. It often requires a clear public interest and court approval to avoid jeopardizing due process. Some experts warn of unintended consequences, like discouraging witnesses from coming forward in the future, or undermining ongoing investigations, or tarring and feathering an innocent person whose name just happened to get mentioned in the investigation. The demand for disclosure speaks to a broader issue, though. A lot of powerful people appear to get insulated from accountability, and they fuel public cynicism and skepticism. When it comes to a scandal of this magnitude, sunshine and scrutiny are the best antidotes to conspiracy theories and institutional mistrust. Mr. President, I maintain again, put this in the hands of a trusted special counsel who can navigate this for you and shove this out of the news cycle with the special counsel. Finally, well, actually, it's our third story, I guess, if I'm keeping track of it. It's the intersection of politics and pop culture. CBS is finally canceling The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, ending the run of a program that was both a source of, comedy staple for the left and frequent bashing of the right. It just wasn't really funny. It was comedy that placated to the left, that would laugh at the people they hate and nothing more, particularly lots of laughs about Donald Trump. Colbert has hosted the program since 2015. People forget that before Donald Trump, they almost got rid of him, and Trump gave him a lifeline. He took direct aim at Republicans and MAGA politicians throughout his tenure. CBS says slumping ratings and shifting audience trends drove the decision. Trump celebrated the show's demise on Truth Social, calling Colbert a tired, failed hack and claiming the network had finally cut the dead weight. He's not wrong, even if the left disagrees. The cancellation is a sign of deeper shifts in American media consumption. Audiences are leaving behind traditional late night, which was arguably becoming more about ideological echo chambers than broad-based entertainment. Trump's public criticism, sometimes thin-skinned and sometimes shrewd, shows just how personal the long culture war between Hollywood and the right has become. Colbert, for his part, could always get hired by MSNBC as Rachel Maddow's backup. Whether CBS will replace him with another comedian or pivot to fresh territory altogether remains to be seen. They'd be really smart to throw a lot of money to Shane Gillis to keep the Late Show franchise and David Letterman's legacy alive, a legacy Colbert dragged into the ground. Finally, we've got the Trump administration's $2 billion would-be investment in rebuilding Alcatraz. It's the final story of the day. He wants to convert Alcatraz Island into a maximum security federal prison. The administration claims it would be there to model for housing the worst of federal prisoners, inmates, terrorists, cartel leaders, and mass shooters. Now, you should know critics are already raising some very legitimate questions. Does the United States need such an expensive, high-profile prison when existing facilities have available capacity and we have a $39 trillion national debt? The cost is staggering, nearly double the price of recent large federal prison projects anywhere in the country, $2 billion. Alcatraz has long been used as a national park and tourist site. It's a logistical nightmare for transportation, security, and staffing, and is a big tourist boon and financial boon even for the federal government with money it brings in. White House officials argue that Alcatraz's isolation and iconic reputation make it the ultimate deterrent. Some law enforcement leaders support the plan, but California politicians across the political spectrum have already signaled opposition, pointing to the island's protected status, the tourist value, and also, can you imagine the incentive the Antifa goons would have on a daily basis to try to sail to the island? The cops would spend more time dealing with the protesters than they would the actual prisoners. From a conservative perspective, the pitch for law enforcement has clear appeal, but the price tag and political theater risk overshadowing more practical solutions to violent crime, prison overcrowding, and illegal aliens. Americans are going to need to weigh the symbolism against the substance and cost, and the symbolism and the cost, in my opinion, far outweighs the symbolism. We can do better and have better places that cost less money and accomplish the same purpose. Now, these are the 4 things you need to know before you get home this afternoon. Please, again, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/EW Erickson. If you text Erick, E-R-I-C-K, to the number 33777, I'll get you a list of all the social media accounts from Rumble to YouTube to Instagram to Twitter that you can follow. But please subscribe to YouTube. Subscribe to this podcast as well. We're growing it online. It's available on all your favorite podcast apps. Just search for 4 things to know this afternoon. I'm Erick Erickson. Until next week, you guys have a great weekend. Stay informed. Stay engaged. Please keep the faith. And remember, Sunday church is a Saturday night decision.
Marketing is hard. But I'll tell you a little secret. It doesn't have to be. Let me point something out. You're listening to a podcast right now, and it's great. You love the host. You seek it out and download it. You listen to it while driving, working out, cooking, even going to the bathroom. Podcasts are a pretty close companion. And this is a podcast ad. Did I get your attention? You can reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Libsyn Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a pre-produced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience and their favorite podcasts with Libsyn Ads. Go to libsynads.com, that's LIBSYN, ads.com today.